Hi, I'm Art Kaplan. I'm at the Division of Medical Ethics at the NYU Grossman School of Medicine. Well, Dr. Sean Conley faced a very tricky dilemma. As the White House physician, it turned out that he was in a bind in terms of protecting the president's privacy. We've all just found out from a book written by Donald Trump's chief of staff when he was president, Mark Meadows, that the president, just prior to a debate with Joe Biden in Cleveland last September, turned up positive for a COVID test. And we do know that probably 6 or 7 days later, that was the time at which Trump went to Walter Reed and announced that he did have COVID. The question that his White House doctor faced is he knew that Trump was positive. Should he have warned anybody? Should he have tried to stop the debate? Who, if anyone, should he have told about the positive test prior to Trump going out and debating Biden? Let's remember, Biden was 77 years old, so he's in a high-risk group at the time. Let's remember that Trump maintained his schedule before the debate, met with Gold Star moms, was around his staff without masking. Remember, he refused to wear a mask. And so the doctor and Trump, and maybe his chief of staff, all knew he had tested positive for COVID, but that he was wandering around exposing people to the virus. So what is the standard when a doctor worries that a patient might be putting others at risk? In the White House, the standard is the president is your patient. And the presumption is privacy, that you're not going to talk about anything the president doesn't want you to talk about, because the president, just like any other patient, has the right to keep medical information confidential. And so that is absolutely the presumption. We could change the laws in this country if we wished and say every year the president ought to get a physical by an independent panel of doctors that would be reported to the public, or the White House physician, in order to protect everybody in the White House, has to be able to disclose certain facts if there are dangers or risks posed by the president or the vice president, but we've never done it. So there's no duty that I'm aware of that the White House doctor has to report, nor is there a duty generally on the part of any doctor to report somebody's private medical information in a public forum. The exception, however, is established in a case in psychiatry way back in the state of California in the 1970s called Tarasoff. In that case, a psychiatrist really believed that a patient might be a danger to a former lover. And indeed, the patient went out and caused harm to that former lover. But while the psychiatrist was pretty convinced that that danger was there, said nothing because of the obligation to respect privacy. Later in court, the California court said, look, if you believe as a doctor that someone is a direct threat to an identifiable person, you have a duty to warn that person that they are at risk if it's serious harm. So the question becomes, is having COVID and running around in front of people, Joe Biden, your staff, people who are coming in on the calendar to meet with you, get a handshake or maybe a autograph or otherwise interact with the president, is that strong enough a risk to impose a duty that says you have to override privacy? Now, I'm not naive. You override that privacy and tell people that President Trump is COVID positive and start letting people know that they should stay away or never approach him without a mask. That's probably the last thing you're going to do as the White House physician. I don't think Trump or any president or any staff would put up with it. But nonetheless, I do believe that COVID is a big enough threat, particularly to vulnerable people, older people, that at least you have the duty to say to the person who's running the schedule, to the person who's organizing the debates, we got to take some precautions here because the president has tested positive. That does seem a significant threat that might rise, in my view, to the standard of the Tarasoff doctrine from that California case from many, many years ago. So in general, what we're seeing here is a pure ethics problem. Respect privacy, president's privacy. The president might even say respect executive privilege. Everything I do is hyper protected in terms of privacy, including my health status. But if you're taking on that White House doctor's role, do you have an obligation to say, yes, but if you're a threat to others and I know who they are and I can warn them, I must do so? My answer is yes. I'm Art Kaplan at the Division of Medical Ethics at the NYU Grossman School of Medicine. Thanks for watching.